And who am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
What's up? We got Gossip Girl. What's up? Today we got Gossip Girl. Season 5, episode 24. The Return of the Ring. The season finale. This episode starts off with Serena receiving. Serena has finally come over her cold. Has finally come over the sickness that she had in the last 2 episodes. And is finally back to full health. And Serena's receiving a call from David O. Russell inviting her to work on another movie set, which she'd graciously accept. Blair returns home and basically peeved at her for exposing her diary. Basically, just walks past her. At the Empire, Nate tells Chuck that he's asking Lola to move in with them, and Chuck is supportive of the idea. Bart arrives in the suite. At the loft, Dan asks Rufus if he's heard from Lola yet after seeing the newspaper with the story about Barb Bass being alive, being back from the dead. But he says he hasn't heard. She hasn't, and calls her. She ignores the call and pours alcohol into her teacup. She kind of did look that she was all high. And begins to read the story on Bart's return. At the Waldorf, Bart tells Serena that it's bad enough that she read her diary, but the fact that she was planning to excuse them is even worse. Serena promises that she isn't going to expose anything, and she just wants to know that she could because she was mad about her and Dan. Again. Yeah. Just wow. Serena, you'd go that far to expose your best friend's diary just because you're mad at her? Wow, they're basically making Serena worse and worse every episode. Blair says that she stole Dan's phone, but she's just posting the inevitable, and that he'll eventually see them. Another post comes in this time by Eleanor, saying how Blair wrote about another wedding planning where her mom needs to make her look small so she can be the star. She tells Serena that she better find a way to fix things before Blair loses everyone in her life, and Serena says she's on it. Blair then calls the icon Dorota, and it opens her chest of diaries and says they need to find damage control. They need to get some damage control. They need to find every mean thing she's ever said about anyone so she can prepare for damage control, and tells her to call her minion. Elsewhere, Lola excitedly tells Nate that she was offered a part in the swing in Wicked. Part of a swing in Wicked. Which, funny, that just became a movie that's coming out. So, yeah. And it solves her summer housing problem, Carol being in jail since it's a tour. She promises to come over and talk to Nate about his news after her fitting, not knowing that Nate was about to ask her to move in. At the Waldorf, Blair goes to find Eleanor to apologize in advance if any of her business is disturbed by the publication of her diary. She hands Eleanor a paragraph to read where Blair wrote about how her mom considers herself an arbiter of Parisian style, but not only the French, but only the French she intimidated with our fry. Eleanor says that this basically means nothing to her, and she basically is not going to let her business come into contact with words wrote by a 13-year-old Blair, wrote by a 13-year-old girl. So yeah. But she needs to talk to Blair about it. Blair says that they can after she gets her own business in order and goes to meet with her minion. They're hesitant to help after reading what Blair thought about them, but eventually agree. Upstairs, Serena gets a call from Dan. Yeah. She assumes she accidentally reveals to him about Blair's diary being exposed, because that's what she assumed he was calling to yell about her exposing Blair's diary. But he's surprised Blair's diary is leaked. and he was calling to see if she's spoken to Lily since Bart's back. She says she's left a few unreturned messages, but she needs to fix the Blair problem, and instructs him to stay off of Gossip Girl. She finishes writing an email to Gossip Girl, which says she'll give her anything if she stops posting the pages from Blair's diary. At the law, Blair contacts him after Rufus asks about Bart's return meeting. He discovers that since Bart and Lily were never divorced, they're technically still married. So basically, yeah, either Bart and Lily have to get annulled, or Rufus and Lily do. So yeah. Yeah. So he tells this to Dan, by the way. He tells this to Dan. Forgot to mention, he tells this whole thing to Dan about how they're technically still married, so one of their marriages has to be annulled, and he'll leave after talking with Dan to go make sure that his and Lily's isn't the one that is. At the Vanderwoodens, Bart has come to see Lily. He explains that his disappearing was only to keep her and Chuck safe. And Lily replies that if she had known, maybe they could have done things differently. But still confusing, why did she think Bart was Jack? Again, I'm still confused why Lily thought Bart was Jack. Like Lily, when Bart went in to save Chuck's blood, she mistook him for Jack. I don't know why. Bart says he knows she was about to leave for Rufus, and she apologizes, and she says she's sorry. She should have had more respect for their marriage. He also says that Chuck told him about the adoption and thanks her for basically saving Chuck, for taking care of Chuck while he was supposedly dead. So he says that. He continues saying there's a part of him that wants to move back into the penthouse and repair the relationship. Lily responds that she has a wonderful memory, and Bart sadly says that he knows that she's married to Rufus, and that she would never choose him over Rufus. At the Waldorf, Blair is directing her minions on who to apologize and how to do it when the diary posts in. And this one's about how this new romance with Dan is fun, but the cultural stimulation enough. What if Blair never loves anyone more than she loves Chuck? Blair tells the girls to leave, but tells Penelope that her new task is to find every secret Serena has, because she needs the biggest one to destroy her with. At the Empire, Chuck is setting up the press conference that Bart is speaking at when he sees the blast in the diary post. Outside, Dan also reads the blast. Later, Blair goes to see Dan and invites him to the Shepherd's divorce party. Remember, remember the Shepherds? Yeah, who knew that they would be that Serena slept with Nate at those Shepherds' wedding, and now Blair's inviting Dan to the Shepherd's divorce party. Wow, a lot of references to season 1. She realizes that Dan has seen Gossip Girl. Has seen Gossip Girl. He knows she took his phone and she apologized. Says she wrote the thing about Chuck before she and Dan slept together. But Dan says that she wrote about her feelings, not about them not sleeping with someone. And she says that she told her he loved her, and she acted like she didn't hear it. She tries to brush it off and says that, but Dan accuses her of just doing it again and tells her that she has to tell him how he really feels by tonight, because if she doesn't, he doesn't want her coming to Italy if she isn't committed to him. At the Empire, Will arrives to talk with Nate and is happy to find, Will's there. Will Vanderwooden is there. He says that he's giving her half. He's there to give her Cece's estate money, which belongs to her. So Nate casually asks her to move in with him, and she says she can't, and that she can't say that she's not part of the Upper East Side world because it's her world now too. Says she needs to talk to Carol before she makes any decisions. Upstairs in the lounge, Rufus delivers enrollment papers to Bart, and lies say they're from Lily. Bart says all the time that he spent hiding made him realize that what's more important is that, and that if Lily's happiness depends on his future, she'll get it. At the Waldorf, Serena confronts Blair about saying a fake rumor that she never read Beautiful in the Dam, and that got her fired from the movie. So Blair says that she isn't sorry when another page comes in saying that Blair will never love Chuck again after what he did tonight, and he's a monster and he deserves to be alone forever. Blair asks Serena if she's happy now that Blair is now alone, now more as alone as Serena is. Serena replies that she's only alone because of Blair, and brings up how Blair's still in love with Chuck, but she's only in love with Blair. She's only alone because Blair loves Dan, and Blair yells at her saying like, "Bro, this is not about Dan." And Serena then brings up how Blair is still in love with Chuck, and which pushes Blair over the edge. Literally, and they get into a huge fight, and she tells Serena to pack her things, and Blair literally recites the whole Vanessa and Dan fight from season 4 by saying that her life was better before Serena showed up, or before Serena showed up, or something like that. Basically, and Serena tells Blair tells Serena to get out and move out of her penthouse, and leave her key with the icon Dorota. So yeah, this basically is reminiscent of the Dan and Vanessa fight, but meanwhile, Lola goes to see Carol at jail. Carol tells Lola that Abrams and Wells write about her New York Society diary and agreed to take her case pro bono, and Lola is surprised that they offered her out of the blue, but doesn't say anything. Carol encourages her to move with Nate and did not turn her back on the life she almost messed up for her. She then gets escorted out. After she's gone, Lola texts Lily asking if they can talk. And yeah, that's the last we see of Carol. We never see Carol again after this episode. I guess she stays in jail. We don't know if she ever gets out. We don't even know if she ever leaves. Who knows? This is the last time we see Carol. I guess they needed to wrap. I don't even know if this is wrapping up her storyline. Like literally, I guess the whole thing with Wilbur's revealed. But the last we see of her being escorted out of where she's talking with Lola. That's the last we see her. They could have at least done it better. They could have at least seen her like get out of jail or something. But no, her last scene of the whole series is her walking out of a conversation with Lola because she was escorted out of it. So bye Carol. You had a good run, even though I wish the writers could have at least given you like one scene of you like getting out of jail or something. But no, I guess Carol's still in jail to this very day. After she's So yeah, at the Empire, Bart tells Chuck that he's proud of all the accomplished he has achieved. Chuck asks how things went with Lily, and Bart admits that now that he now regrets not treating her better. He asks if Chuck is back with Blair, and Chuck admits that he's made some mistakes with Bart's quote-unquote death. After Bart's quote-unquote death, and he realizes how bad he messed up and has a ring to propose. Yeah, ring to propose, but it was too late. Now he's not sure if she feels about him or Dan. He's not even sure if Blair's with Dan. Bart encourages him to go and win Blair back, since he won't. At that Vanderwoods, Louis assures Lola that she has nothing to do with Carol's lawyer, since she won't speak to her. But they need help paying. But they need help paying. If they need help paying, she's glad to pitch in. Lola says they're working pro bono, and she says she has some money from Cece. Vanya then comes up and brings Lily a note from a delivery from her attorney. She opens the envelope to find Nolan papers, which were already signed by Bart. She asks Lola that she needs some time so she can see herself out, and goes upstairs. Lola picks up the envelope and notices Lily is being represented by Abrams and Well, the same firm who took on Carol's case. So it seems like Lily wasn't lying about having nothing to do with the Carol thing. So yeah, so it seems like Lily is trying to sabotage Carol by being in league with the Carol's pro bono case lawyers or something. At the Empire, Blair goes to see Chuck. She says that she came to check on him and make sure he wasn't hurt by her diary. He says he's not hurt because they made amends and maybe she can tell him something else like she did, like maybe she and Dan broke up. She assures him that they're still together, and he replies that they needs to move on. He spent a year waiting for her with no avail. Blair then gets a text from Dan saying that she cares about him. She cares about him at all. She needs to meet him at the party and to say how she feels. Tells Chuck that she has to go and leave. Outside the Waldorf, Serena meets a Penelope who explains that Blair had fired her. Serena informs her that Serena's plan is to basically go to Penelope and say, yeah, by the way, Penelope nor Blair are going to that party, going to that divorce party because they'll be making sure Blair isn't there. At the party, Serena gets text Penelope confirming their plan to keep Blair at the Waldorf. She finds Dan and explains that Blair texted him to be there. Serena tells him to stay off Goth Girl, but he checks anyway and sees Blair was a spy at the Empire. However, she tries to ensure him that Blair was probably just telling Chuck that it's over between them and is on her way there now. At the Empire, Chuck tells Bart that it's important that the world knows that he's back and the press conference will do it. Bart then reveals that he has a Henry Winston engagement ring. He has the Henry Winston engagement ring Chuck bought for Blair. He got it when he was there getting a present for Lily. He then encourages him to make a grand gesture for her, but she might have to hold on to it. Lily arrives and asks for a moment with Bart. Caddy sneaks up and takes a picture of Chuck holding the ring. At the Waldorf, Blair confesses to Eleanor that she's torn between Dan and Chuck. She weighs in on the pros of each, and Eleanor's supportive of both. Tells Blair the most powerful woman she knows, and therefore she wants Blair to take over Waldorf design as she wants to retire, and trusts Blair with the position. Blair, of course, accepts, and Penelope enters and says since Blair's diary said she was pathetic for showing up everywhere alone, thought maybe they could go to a divorce party together. However, Blair warns Blair that Serena is wearing the same color scheme, so excuses Blair to go to the bathroom. Penelope sits down to wait for her. At the party, Dan and Serena are taking shots, and Serena's getting Dan as drunk as possible. She asks if he should call her, but Serena tries to lie and say that he wouldn't want to ruin the moment for her showing up to be with him, so he shouldn't. Dan then gets a gospel blast containing a photo of Chuck in the ring. Serena remarks that after being rejected, she doesn't think Chuck would make the same move unless he was sure of her answer. Dan replies that he wants to hear that from her, and then another caterer. Then Serena makes it so caterers spill champagne on both of them. Serena says that she knows somewhere they can dry off and leads Dan away. Wow, Serena's being a manipulative in this episode. She's manipulating Dan's feelings of Blair, which is wrong, but still, she's manipulating Dan's feelings of Blair. Back in the Waldorf, Eleanor asks Penelope what she's still doing at the apartment. She answers she's waiting for Blair, but Eleanor explains that Blair's gone already. She went through Serena's room to avoid Penelope. Penelope quickly leaves and texts Serena that, Blair's gone. Meanwhile, Dan and Serena are in the bar drying and takes off her shirt, leaving only her slip. Dan asks Blair's not the type to choose Chuck and to be quiet about it. Serena reminds him that he's not in love with the real Blair. He's in love with the Blair he created in his book. And that Blair's only using Dan because she knows she loves him. She kisses Dan. Serena kisses Dan. At the Empire, Louis thought Bart wanted to be honest and moving forward, and he does, and he says he does. She asks if there's a problem with the annulment papers, and she mentioned she didn't say anything about it earlier. He replies that that's because Rufus didn't bring them by until after he's sure that she showed. Rufus then enters and tries to make Bart out to be the bad guy, saying that he knew Bart lured her up here and he decides to leave them alone. Rufus says he won't. Lily's like, bro, what is going on with you? Signing annulment papers behind my back? And he's like, bro, And he's like, girl, I just wanted to I just wanted to give us a chance to work things out before Bart got involved. Little Angle says that their problems were, they had problems before Bart showed up, before Bart came back, and it will be her choice who she stays with. She rips up the papers and says, "Yeah, Rufus, I'm annulling. I'm gonna stick with Bart. I'm annulling you." So yeah, this basically ends the Rufus and Lily marriage. So yeah, so basically she rips up the papers and basically tells them that, yeah, basically, Rufus, let's get an annulment. So back downstairs, Chuck introduces Bart to the press. At the party, Serena and Dan sleep together in the same way that Nate and Serena slept together at the Shepherd's party, and now Serena's doing a Dan at the Shepherd's divorce. Elsewhere in the car, Blair's on the phone with Eleanor. She explains that she knows who she needs to be with and is on their way to tell him now. She enters the Empire just to see Bart publicly cut Chuck out of the business, out of Bart's Industries. On the roof, Bart tells Chuck that he thinks that the conference went well. Chuck angrily asks what just happened, and Bart calmly answers that he did what was best for the company. And he mentions all of Chuck's mistakes happened because of Blair. And Finn is saying that he proved he wasn't grown up enough when he took the ring. Chuck says that Bart was encouraged him to take the ring, and Bart reveals that was all basically a test that Chuck failed. That was basically all a test, and Chuck failed. He says that Bass Industries needs to be run by a man, not a boy. Needs to be run like a man like him, and not a boy like Chuck. And then Chuck can start growing up now. At the party, Dan and Serena have finished, and he hands her phone, and he notices her camera is on and that it recorded him. He sees she had to keep Penelope Blair busy. He yells at Serena, saying that he manipulated him so he would cheat on Blair. Manipulated him so he would cheat on Blair. Yeah. Serena argues that they both did it, and he goes to leave. When he gets a text from his Cody that Blair is back with Chuck. Tries to make him look, but he says he does not know who she is anymore, and he is done with her. At the Empire, Blair finds Chuck on the roof and confesses that she's in love with him, and now they can finally be together. Chuck says that all he wanted before he lost everything, Blair was all he wanted. That's all he wanted before he lost everything. Blair says Walter is going to be her future, and Chuck says that Bart was right. She will always bet against him. She asks him to be a part of his future, but Chuck responds that he doesn't want to become Mr. Blair Waldorf. He needs his own success. A week later, Chuck tells Nate that Lola is headed to meet Jack. He tells Nate Lola that he's headed to meet Jack, who also was cut out of Bass Industries by Bart. Nate wishes him luck and takes off. Lola asks if he's sure he doesn't want to come tour Northwest with her, and she says that he says that while he would love to, he worked too hard to run the Spectator to leave now. She has to go finish donating Cece's money and asks where it's going. She mysteriously plans that she found a worthy cause. Activated Woodens later presents Rufus with annulment papers, and he asks if she's sure. She replies that what they have isn't just a marriage anymore. What they have isn't just a marriage anymore, and they're basically not. They weren't good partners, and what they have isn't a marriage anymore. So yeah, Rufus and Lily are getting an annulment. So basically means that their marriage never happened. Yeah, Rufus leaves and Bart emerges saying that they have a lot of making up to do, but they'll do it together. In the Hamptons, at the law, Dan is deleting all Blair's emails without reading them when Serena lied. Right. She said that she deleted the video, but what happened was mutual using both ends. Dan reasons that she did to hurt Blair because of some crazy, and he did it because he was hurt. She confessed her love to him again, and he adds that he wouldn't have done it what he did if he didn't. She says that she's in love with him, that she's in love with him, and adds that he wouldn't have done what he did if he's done. Dan replies that yeah, now with Rufus and Lily splitting up and annulling, they basically have nothing to each other. I mean, they mean nothing to each other, and he does not have to see or talk to her ever again. And he leaves. And she leaves on her way out. On her way out, she calls someone to ask if they can meet. At a cafe, Lola meets with Ivy, saying that, yeah, since Cece's estate money was originally left with Ivy, she's giving it back to her. And it's revealed that, yeah, they are in agreement that she and Ivy are in agreement that Ivy will take the money to use it as a payback to take down Lily in exchange for the... Ivy will taking the money in exchange for Ivy taking down Lily for basically manipulating all the events and banging and sending Carol to prison. So yeah, I wonder how season 6 is gonna go. Ivy now basically now going Operation Take Down Lily. Meanwhile, Blair and Eleanor arrive in Paris. Eleanor asks if she's had any regrets about leaving with speaking to Serena, but Blair says no and says she's ready for her new adventure. In Monte Carlo, Jack and Chuck are at a casino trying to win enough money by counting cards to buy themselves the only game that can take down Bart. At the Empire, an envelope from Diana arrives for Nate, and disclosed is a note asking if this could be Gossip Girl. With a flash drive loaded with a person dressed in entirely black, searching and taking the laptop back the night of the brothel. Elsewhere, Georgina gets into a car with Dan, ready to go to Italy, and Dan says he needs her to help write a book about the Upper East Side that he should have written all along. A scathing expose. On the train, Serena's leaving, and they get a cool shot of her looking out, like how she looked out on the Upper East Side in the pilot, and now she's looking out, leaving the Upper East Side here. She leaves when she meets with a guy sent by Damien. She buys Coke with him and doesn't hesitate when the guy Zeke tries to sleep with her, saying that she doesn't care who he is. She doesn't care who he is. In Monte Carlo, Blair arrives at the casino to see Chuck, and she tells him that she came to fight for him, and that she's all in, ending the episode. So yeah, we had the last appearance of Lola for the season. She only makes one appearance in the series finale, but yeah, this basically means this is Lola's last appearance as a recurring character. So Lola and Ivy are now teaming up to take down Lily. Ivy gets money that was originally hers in exchange for them coming up with a plan to take down Lily, for basically manipulating everything that was going on and sending Carol to prison. Rufus and Lily are basically annulled. That basically means that their marriage never existed, and she's now going back with Bart. And that means Dan's basically peeved off at Serena for using him. Blair don't know how Blair's gonna fix things with Serena, and yeah, don't know how she's gonna fix things with Serena. Don't know how she's gonna fix things with Serena. But yeah. And Nate is now running The Spectator. Yeah, last episode was the last appearance. Episode 23 was the last appearance of Diana Payne on the show. So now she's basically just mentioned now. So, yeah. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for the 6th and final season of Gossip Girl with Season 6, Episode 1. With Season 6, Episode 1, Gone, Maybe Gone. What's going to happen? Find out next time. You know you love me. XOXO, Gossip Girl.